mix inspired Michael Ball. It's the first time he's ever raised his hands on a yes. So that's pretty impressive.
Scare that referee. Let's talk a little football.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Press Box. I'm so glad you're with us. I'm here with the normal, colorful cast of characters: Randy Young, Michael Best, Jim Rayburn, Austin Reams. Thank you for joining the Grumpy Old Man Show, and I am the grumpiest.
There is
there
nothing
we go.
normal about this bunch. I'm just saying.
Hey, just let me say, apparently I don't know why I'm here. I won't have anything to say, but I'm just so excited these two guys are still playing. You don't know how pumped I am that I'm here watching.
You know what's happened, Jim? He's developing confidence here in this, this little run here in the whole season.
We don't want him to have any confidence.
I do want to thank Jim. I went to see my Bulldogs
Your
play.
Bulldogs.
I was on the sidelines. I thought maybe I was going to get to toss the coin. That didn't work out. Could not get in the press box. There was a picture there, and they said go back to the
I wonder how
sideline.
that happened. I can't imagine.
But I did get to tour the museum.
Yeah.
Another letdown. I'm not in there anywhere.
I
Apparently, there's nothing about the band
And
there.
then to show you how observant he is, Randy, he said, "What's Central's jerseys doing?"
Central
there?"
has two jerseys
They're
in there.
not Central jerseys.
And then I figured out
They're
that
college or
apparently,
pros.
apparently they're yellow jacket. They're Georgia Tech.
Georgia
but
Tech.
Yeah.
It was blue and gold and said jackets.
We have a college section.
Well, I was looking at some of the pictures of the band to see if you're in there.
Yeah.
but I
No,
hadn't seen it before.
if
I was very disappointed.
If
they
they
didn't
were,
have that
we'd be
picture of
cut
you
it
and
out.
William Andrews down there together on that field.
It was a nice tour, but I didn't find me.
We'll
there
work
anywhere.
on that. I'll
That's
get in
right.
touch
We'll
with
see
you.
what we
We'll
can
work
do.
on that.
We'll see what we can do.
I'm going to bring a picture next time. Just tape it in there.
We'll
somewhere.
Photoshop it.
Well, speaking of the Bulldogs, they were 42-10 winners over Temple, and we can get your thoughts and get your thoughts. Just a quick summary of the game, and then we'll go to the analysis of the big win over Temple.
Well, it was a great win. Dogs came out on fire. Cam Hill was 15 of 17 for 143 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he came out hot. He completed like his first 12 passes in a row, and it completing them to AJ and to Cy. Of course, the opening kickoff, Wilson almost took it all the way back. He came across midfield with it, and that just set the tone for the game. And our defense set the tone hard on the wing tee of their version of the wing tee, and really they couldn't get out of their own way. And towards the end of the ball game, they didn't want to be in there. We had to send our trainer over to the other side to check out some of their players, and she come back and told Coach DeLay, "Don't send me over there no more. They just don't want to go in the game." So anyway, but it was a great game. Ant Anderson, I mean, normally we swap backs every series, but Ant started the first series, excuse me, and then he came out for the second series. He had 12 carries for 94 yards and 2 TDs, and I got to see the highlights. I haven't seen many highlights this year. I got to see them on YouTube, and I mean, the child's got the greatest peripheral vision and his feet. I mean, that he's only 136 pounds, but he's running over people and running through people, and I mean, what a gift. That was his most likely his last game on the turf at Veterans Memorial Stadium. He's the only skill player we got that's graduating besides Cy. So all the other running backs will be back next year, but Cy had a great game, and AJ Hill had a great game. He caught 4 passes for 2 touchdowns, and I want WCTV to know that Cam and AJ are brothers.
Yeah.
They haven't mentioned that. They just say Cam hits AJ Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, the connection. And Cam threw one pass that I'm sure they've played in the backyard many times. He had to throw it low across the middle of the field, and AJ went down and dug it out. It was the only place it could be complete. But I mean, just a great overall all night for the offense, and
Defense
and
did
the
good,
defense
did their job.
did great. They did get a field goal and a touchdown, but other than
Those
that,
were late, right? I know the touchdown
well,
was
the
late.
field goal was in the first half,
Okay.
but the touchdown was later on. But anyway, great overall performance to go to 10-2, and the prize we give for that is we go to the Shamrock Bowl to take on Dublin, who in our career we're 4-5 against them and only beat them up there one time, and that was back in the 60s.
Yeah, your thoughts on a very good Dublin team, a big Dublin team. So the defense that has done so well has really kind of set the tone. They got a big job in front of them, one that they can do. But your kind of thoughts on how the defense, what do they have to do to
Well,
win,
we've seen
win?
the wing team maybe 5 or 6 times this season, and the last 2 teams have run it very similar, not with the same people.
Yeah, there's some big guys.
But
Yeah.
Dublin's always big up front. The big thing about Dublin, a lot of their kids play both ways. We need it on a hot night, but it's going to be cool. But I look for us to try to stretch the field. The quarterback goes both ways, and they've had trouble covering the pass. So if our receivers can get open and Cam can have enough time, we can make it a shootout. And if we get in a shootout, maybe we get lucky.
They have been in some shootouts. They have given up some points.
Dodge
dominated.
took them, didn't beat them, but they led them at one time throwing the football, and then Dublin just wore them down.
All right. Well, Michael, best thoughts on your team, your
Bulldogs.
Please do not say that. He was just a guest.
I guess they let you
Your
in.
alma mater. Let's
Your
play
alma
your
mater.
alma
Your alma
mater.
There you go.
Sorry.
Brought back a lot of memories being down there and
On the field, yeah.
on the fields, but especially at halftime. But they're getting right where they need to be at the right time.
I
Yeah,
think.
and very impressive win. And you could tell just from the very beginning that they didn't want it. They did not want any of that. The Dogs, big time, and Temple was ready to, go to Mr. Chick and go home, like a lot of teams do. And but I thought it was a very impressive win. And, an interesting thing, looking at the fact that, in our season, our losses to you guys, y'all are still playing, Peach County's still playing, you want to try to get to the point where you can beat good football teams, like that. But
You lost to some teams.
we lost to some very good football teams this year, and they're still playing, and that's what's good for South Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. It helps us all.
This will be our 6th trip out of 8 years to the quarterfinals.
What jumps out? You've seen a lot of ball, and one thing you'll know about Michael Best that I like is that if Cairo ain't playing, he's on the sideline somewhere watching some high school football. So what jumps out about Thomasville High School, you think?
Well, the speed, I think, number one, very, and again, both Central and Thomasville have very good quarterbacks, a lot of skilled players, and good offensive lines, and Thomasville still got that defense that, they've hung their hat on for so long, and it was a fast game. And that's what Thomasville plays, and it was impressive. Like I say, I think they got a good shot at Dublin because they're playing really good right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, very good.
I got a lot of confidence just watching.
A lot of confidence. All right.
That's what you need.
Speaking of confidence, Thomas County Central, 35-7 winners over Rome. When in Rome, they did as the Romans did and did not have any Venezuelans.
They did not.
Yeah, and came away with a big win. You got to feel good about that win there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough place to play. And you're talking one of the traditional powers in the state, and they don't lose very often at home. And this is the lowest point total they've been held to in 3 years. And our guys played well, came right out, took the opening kickoff and went 8 plays, about 65 yards or so, and went right in and developed a solid first half. We ended the first half with 218 total yards, and they had 71. Jalen Johnson had another great night. He was 16 of 19 for 178 yards, threw for a couple of touchdowns. Another big night for Deuce Lawrence. Deuce goes over 100 yards, carried it for, I think it was 17 carries for 101. And then A.J. Clark, the backup running back, had right at 100 yards. So just a solid night. Finished up with 402 total yards. Rome finishes with about 170. To me, our crowd, I don't even know what to say. I mean, we had at least 2-1 outnumbered the Rome crowd, and that's a very, very solid program.
Big deal, yeah.
And the thing about the horns did not make a speck of difference. Every single person that were in those stands had some sort of noisemaker. He was either a shaker, a cowbell, the thunder sticks, or something. At one point in time, one of the kids in the band that was right beside us in our little outdoor lean-to that we were broadcasting from on the visitor side ran up to me and had one of those decibel meter things on his phone, and it read 121. And that's in a high school stadium. So Jacket Nation traveled, and the team took care of business. Solid win. Second year in a row that we've been able to take care of them, and now we get to take care of it or get to see another traditional power, the 2022 state champions Langston Hughes up there in Fairburn, where we will be outside broadcasting the game again in 27-degree weather with a stiff wind from the north. But
and a little.
other than that, no big deal.
Yeah, a little. I don't know if it's controversy, but you hate to see. They don't have as many fans as you would think that a powerhouse would have. Kind of, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's disappointing. I got a real good friend of mine, Charles Bass, who went to high school with me, whose kids go there, and he said they have not had more than 300 or 400 people at any home game this year. He shared with me a photograph from 3 weeks ago, and there's barely 100 people in the stands. And The stadium seats 3,800. Jim and I were talking about it before we started recording. The GHSA rules state that they have to share at least half of them with us, but if Central's fans gobble those things up, they have to buy them through GoFan, and GoFan doesn't know who's buying what.
Yeah.
They just know that the tickets have been bought. So if 3,500 of our folks buy tickets, with it being a holiday weekend and everybody's got the weekend off as far as their work is concerned, then that's how many Yellow Jackets will be there. It will be on Georgia Public Television, so if you want to watch it, you're able to watch it there. Their quarterback is thrown for about 2,800 yards. They've got a running back that's going over 1,300, another one that's right at 800. They score a lot of points and play really good defense. Very, very athletic.
Track speed doesn't always.
I'm with
always
you.
We
translate,
had
but-
Timbo had the 4x100 state champions in their classification last year, but the speed didn't get outside.
Yeah, well, and that's my
yeah.
hope, is
Yeah.
that somehow or another we can create some problems. Now, they've got a big line of scrimmage on offense. One of their tackles is committed to Georgia, one's committed to Auburn. But our defensive line is playing really, really well. Our defense overall is playing really, really well. And I like the matchup with our secondary. Our secondary is playing fantastic. But I really like the matchup of our offensive line. Their defensive front is fairly small. Very quick, but fairly small. I like the matchup of our offense. This could be one of those games that's going to end up being a 42-35 type thing. I think both teams will score points. Just get the win somehow, some way.
right.
The coin toss, by some Christmas miracle, went Central's way. So, and Jim, you should.
Something happened.
He forgot to make the phone
happens.
call.
It's
Forgot
his
to make the phone
connections.
call.
Where's
Clearly
Robin
wrong.
Hines when you need him?
I was going to say, but if we win it, we will be home next week against the winner of the Sequoia Coffee County game. First time, if we're able to get there, it'll be the first time ever that the semifinals will have been played in the Jacket's Nest.
Now,
Crazy.
Blair and I left the Thomasville game after halftime because it was cold.
Yeah,
we were,
you needed security and all
yeah,
that.
we had to get a safe way out.
That's it.
And so we're in the car, and I said we had no idea what was going on. And I said, well, let's check in on my guy Randy and see how they're doing. So we turned it over, get the game, driving home. And I'm listening, and we don't know the score, but the girders are bending, and it is you're hanging on every moment, and it is every play. And I'm going, man, they're in a war, and we're listening. I'm driving down the road, just right up on the radio, listening. All of a sudden, they go to a break. We'll be back, 21-0 Jackets. So, are you kidding me? I said, I'm sitting here thinking somebody's going to kick a field goal, win this thing at the
That's
last
my
second.
job, though.
You had me right there, buddy. I was there.
I'll take that as a compliment.
right.
Yeah, I was. And now Blair got a little annoyed. I had the horn blowing it because
Yeah.
I can't take it back. I can't find anybody to give me my money back. So I just used it
Well,
in the
maybe
car.
if you get to come to the Jacket's Nest next
Yeah,
week,
I'm
you
bringing
can
the
use it
horn.
there. There you go, right there.
All right.
Did y'all have any horns at your game this week, Jim?
I
Or no?
brought mine.
Yeah, I thought you were going to be marching with the band down there, tooting your trumpet.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me do anything.
Well,
He can't find his trumpet. To be honest, he told me that.
Well, so he's going to march doing the Vuva's Wales then. That'd be
Yeah.
something to behold.
Before we leave this
Okay.
part, for Thomasville Bulldog fans that are staying home,
Oh,
you
yeah,
got to watch
yeah.
it on the radio. I mean, listen to
What-
it on the
or watch it on
radio.
radio.
Or watch it on
Watch it on the radio. Listen
Very
to
visual
it.
medium.
Georgia's tailgate show runs up till 7 o'clock, so we'll have no tailgate show. We'll go right to the coach's corner at 7, and then to the pregame, and then to the game at 7:30. So don't think we're not coming on. We will be on.
be on at 7:30. But
We'll be
you'll-
on at 7 o'clock.
You'll be on at 7, but you can learn all about the Georgia football ladies
4
auxiliary
hours.
recipe
Yeah.
book. You can learn all about that before the Georgia game because they play Georgia Tech.
They do.
We're going to talk about
Central
that. It's gonna be
Tailgate
fun.
show on the radio 5:30, and then we'll be on live about 6:30, 6:45.
All right, let's talk Colquitt County. They lost 28-14 to Collins Hill, and I guess a disappointing end, but a good season for them in terms of just rebuilding. I know that typically they
North Georgia people are counting South Georgia, the big class in South Georgia, out. They say that they can't compete with the upper echelon because of the number of students and all that, and because there hadn't really been a state champion out of
Yeah,
one
come out of
out
that.
of one class since Colquitt maybe, but they got to realize Colquitt was young this year,
Yeah.
so they
I was
came a
going to
long
say,
way. They
that
came a long
Colquitt
way.
team, the
They're gonna be
growing pains they had this year will pay off next year. You keep an eye on that Packer team for next year. Now, they're going to be loaded, flat
Yeah.
out. And I don't give a rip what the folks up north say.
That's right.
Colquitt
That's
will
right.
make a run. But you hate seeing Valdosta, Lowndes, and Colquitt, all of them fall on one night. But that 6A class, there's a lot of really good teams that they're
Carrollton and Buford.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lowndes of Valdosta drew the best draws in the world.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and Carrollton and Buford are kind of on a collision course, you think, with those two teams. Kind of all-star teams up there.
Keep an eye on North Gwinnett there. North Gwinnett's an undefeated team that's kind of flown under the radar.
Yeah.
They are a very physical team, kind of old school type thing. It'd be interesting to see when they run up against the Bufords and those folks. I don't know who they've got this week,
Yeah.
but they've been told by my buddies up there around Atlanta that they're a team to kind of keep half an eye on.
Yeah, we'll get to the Mitchell County score in a second. Let's keep up with that. What are teams you need to keep an eye on? We kind of know the favorites in all of these classifications, but who do we need to keep an eye on? What do you say, Michael Best?
Peach County, I think, is playing really good football. You know, last year they I think they were like 6-4. This is their coach's second year. A lot of good athletes, and apparently, you know, they're peaking at the right time. I look to see Peach County in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, are they? But they're not really favored. Who's kind of favored in that classification?
Was it Sandy Creek?
Sandy Creek in
They got
there.
beat.
They got beat.
Well, I
There's
guess
somebody
they're not.
else that's pretty juggernaut
Let me
in
see here
that
real
for
quick.
in 4A.
You've
right
got Cherokee Bluff at Jefferson, LaGrange at North Hall, Calhoun at Peach, Southeast Bullock at Stevenson.
now. So really,
I think
Peach,
Southeast
Calhoun-
Bullock has a pretty good football team.
Okay.
But I think
Jefferson apparently is playing real well too. So
yeah,
Yeah, so look out for Peach.
I like Peach's chances. And by the way, that North Gwinnett team that we were talking about, they get to travel to Buford.
All right.
Yeah,
that's
so you got
fun.
Collins Hill at Grayson, West Forsyth at Douglas County. Douglas County, by the way, the team that defeated Langston Hughes,
Yeah.
21-14. Hillgrove at Carrollton and North Gwinnett at Buford in 6A.
Going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
What about for? Let me get it right now that we're to the end of the season. This is one single A one single A.
We call it 1A high.
1A high.
1A high, there you
Okay.
That's
No way I'm ever going to get that.
No, I got you. But you went to Brookwood. You should be able to catch that.
Those
Listen, me
numbers
and
should
me
be
and
a
numbers
problem.
and letters. Hey, give me some history. Don't give me numbers and letters.
Well, Fannin County was the top team, Fannin and Dublin, but Jeff Davis almost defeated Fannin County. So I'm looking at Worth and Fitzgerald's game.
You kind of think whoever the
Whoever
winner out of
wins
that
one.
game is kind of the
Worth
sneaky-
is really scoring a lot of points. So it'll be Fitzgerald they beat them in the regular season, but they got to go to Worth this Friday night. So I'm kind of looking at the Worth Fitzgerald winner as being in the dome, and then on our side, if we can't slow down Dublin, it'll be Dublin or
in
Toombs.
Toombs, yeah. All right. Well, another season came to a close as well. Mitchell County lost to Lincoln County. That was 49-7. But Mitchell County was 9-3 overall. Good
Great
season, and hopefully that's something that they can build off. And always a lot of athletes in Mitchell County in that area.
They
So
1-9 last year.
yeah, well, that's quite a turnaround.
Hey, and real quick, let me throw the 5A schedule out for folks. Coffee will be at Sequoia, which Sequoia is my team flying under the radar in 5A. Thomas County Central goes to Hughes. Sprayberry at Lee County, and then Houston at Milton. That one could end up being a basketball score.
Yeah.
Because both of those teams score a lot of points.
Up and down the field
Yep.
right there. So, all right. Well, we're going to talk college football in just a minute. Stay with us. All right, now that we're done making fun of Austin, let's start the show. Let's get back here. There'll probably be a few more things they can make fun of me coming
so
up.
easy though.
I know, it is an easy
It's
target.
the holiday
so
season. It's the time to be giving. and
What-
that's
Yeah.
what we're doing.
what
So-
more to be thankful for than these guys here on the desk with
FSU
me?
season coming to an end.
I'm ready. I'm so ready for it to be over. So hopefully FSU won't prolong it.
Got one more to go, though.
Let's talk Georgia and the most grateful fans that we all know, and that's Georgia fans. Kirby Smart's got the SEC face planted, and somehow Georgia's going to be in the SEC championship game. You
This
got
is
a whole.
yours,
This is
Michael.
going to be like, how are you going to handle all this going on? But you got Georgia Tech. I think if you play well, you win. I don't think Georgia Tech is flying on the radar anymore. They were last year. You got the team's attention this year, but how are you going to play the next couple of weeks?
Since you and Kirby talk, I know
Yeah,
you,
we've spoken, and I just don't like it. But now, I've heard talk that they've got to come to some agreement if they're going to keep having these championship games that it can't cost a team.
Yep.
Because it's just not fair.
Who said
Cause
that?
the team won.
A
That,
chance to get in the playoffs.
Chance to get in the
playoffs.
playoffs. Who
If
said
they
that?
all-
Georgia's in the playoffs. Alabama's in the playoffs.
Who said that last week? That they would let a 3-loss Georgia team in.
And
Somebody said that last
and
week.
a 3-loss Alabama team.
I don't know. I don't.
see that.
Their coach said they're the best team in the country.
He would say that. Anyway,
It's going to be a weird situation,
it
right?
is.
The NCAA is cruel and
unusual.
inhuman and unusual. And I mean, look what they did to Florida State. They broke them.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
yeah.
done.
That was
I mean,
ESPN.
Yeah, I'm just listening
But-
to this as an FSU fan that,
But-
that you guys.
I mean,
Actually
they
have a
have
team.
not recovered. In fact, they don't even remember playing another game.
They forgot
They
it.
forgot they even played another
Wrote it off
game.
their plaque and everything.
It's not on a plaque. It's nowhere, and now they haven't recovered. They haven't gotten a first down since then. And so you know what they can do to you. So yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried.
very
I'm worried
worried.
about Georgia Tech.
Are you guys
wait-
legit worried about Georgia Tech?
Wait a
Yes.
minute. Wait a minute. Y'all got SEC written across your shirt. You ain't got nothing to worry
He's
about.
wearing SEC underwear. Though.
Yeah,
He's telling
he's
us
No,
got
that.
I
to
am
say
not. I will never.
I'm telling you, this never turns out good for Georgia. It's something not
Oh,
going to
Yeah,
do.
it's gonna
poor.
be
Well,
fine.
well,
Poor,
he-
poor babies.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now they're forced to play a game that nobody on the Georgia side wanted to play. I mean, you
Tech.
don't. No.
No, not the Tech game. I'm talking about the SEC game.
Good point. But I'm talking about the SEC championship. Without the SEC championship game, Georgia has 3 weeks off and would have been hosting one of those opening round games in Athens. But now they get 2 weeks off, and now they'll probably have to end up going to New Orleans the way it's looking, which is not horrible. But you're talking a physical game against a Texas A&M or Texas. If it's Texas, it's very tough to beat a good team twice.
Yeah.
I don't like
You
it.
got to say good team. Texas is not a good
Oh,
team.
get out of here. Texas
is
is a
good.
very good team.
Yeah,
Texas A&M is dangerous.
Yeah, depending on what Texas team
I just
shows
don't
up.
like
so.
it. I just don't like it.
All right.
I'm-
Well,
I'm with
speaking
you.
of not liking, why don't we go to FSU? You guys
They're
want to
back.
talk about, so
They're
They
back
won.
big
They
wins.
scored more
Right,
than 21. They
we've
scored more than
doubled-
21.
I know. We've doubled our win total, so I'm really happy with that.
Knowles are back.
And I guess they're still more interesting to talk about them, kind of not their games, but kind of their off season. Got a good young quarterback from Benedictine. Cromanek had a good game.
He's good.
Good player, but you're still going to have to get a lot of player. The interesting question, I think, and this was posted on Seminole Headlines, so I'm taking this from them. But do you stick with Cromanek, or do you go to the transfer portal and get another quarterback?
I think they've proven that the transfer portal quarterback situation for FSU is not a good route to go.
There's usually only one good one out there to get.
And this kid he's got both skill sets. He can run the ball, he can throw the ball,
Yeah.
he's confident. He's a good-looking player.
Yeah, but let's just say you're still kind of rebuilding, and you don't want to get this young guy killed. Now there are teams that actually, did their scouting and had pretty good transfer quarterbacks. Indiana has done this.
Yeah, you see how that worked.
Well, they're going to be in the playoffs. I mean, they're
They
only
should be.
one loss.
Google.
That's who I was
Google
hoping was
it.
coming to
Google him.
Athens.
Yeah, Google him.
But there's several quarterbacks at Vandy as well. Nobody really heard about that. So you can kind of you don't have to get like the best guys. Sometimes you can get somebody kind of wants to move up a level.
I just don't know.
Hey,
that
ukulele
stick with-
coming back though.
I don't think
Medical
so.
red shirt or something.
Yeah, I don't
a
think
red
so.
shirt ukulele.
So you say just stick with your young guy. Is
Stick
that what
with-
everybody?
I would.
Stick
growing
with him.
pains.
Him
The,
hanging
the
there.
problem is you can't be if you're Norvell and you're 4-8 next year. You're gone. So you got to be 6
Yeah,
and
but
6.
you
gotta,
go 4-8 with a mediocre quarterback that you pulled in
Well,
off somebody else's pro. I mean, I
It's
go
tough.
with this kid. I think he gives you the best chance to win, and he's a program guy.
Yeah, I like him.
His heart's there in Tallahassee.
I like him, but it's going to be an interesting situation. But
Now, what about
you
they
should
got
like?
a shot at Florida?
No,
13
no.
point
No,
pick.
Come
on.
13 point.
These guys haven't really seen Florida State in a while.
Oh, get
I
outta
went
here.
down to the game and
It's in
FSU.
Tallahassee.
Yeah, I went down to the Charleston Southern game. Got to see a Thomasville player play. Evan Wynn got to see him recover the fumble, kickoff fumble. But they just really don't have a lot of talent where you need it.
Yeah, but there's
Wide
always a
receivers.
chance that Gators will gator.
Yeah, there is a chance.
Rivalry
And
game.
It's
Just
a rivalry
saying.
game.
That's what worries me about the Tech game.
The only thing
Yeah.
about Florida is they have played a bunch of good teams back to back. Now they're not playing a good team now, but maybe. It's
Well, they
change
were
of
at
the
Sky High against Ole Miss, so
Yeah,
it's hard
and
to
LSU.
hard to sustain. And they say, "Oh, this is FSU." And
What about Texas and A&M? What do you think about that one?
It's going to be tough because it's there. It's always tough to beat
Yep,
them out
yep,
there
you're
in
right.
College Station.
And I can't wait for that game. I'm glad that we do have that. We hadn't had that for maybe a decade or so, but
Yeah.
but
Been a
Texas
while.
at Texas A&M, and is that going to be on Saturday night?
7:30.
7:30 Saturday night.
I don't know
That's gonna
what
be a classic.
station, but
It's
You
gonna
got
be a
to text
classic.
me the Georgia score because I won't be able to.
All right. Well,
keep up
speaking of classic, we've got a bunch of yes nos with.
All right.
Here we go. Let's
I'm
let's
thankful
do
for
this
yes,
one
no.
here. You guys thankful for that?
Thanksgiving.
All right, Randy. Ohio State only needs 13 points to beat Michigan.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Michigan's offense.
Yeah,
They're awful.
Yeah.
No, need more than
Need
that.
more than that?
Jim would say that, but the,
All
the
right.
neutral observers here say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You
All right.
You'd have to know the history of the
Oh,
series.
I know.
I know, but Michigan's offense is
Yep,
awful.
I'm with you.
All right, Florida only needs 13 points to beat FSU.
Why you do yourself like that?
What do you say, Michael Best?
I'm saying Florida State's going to light it up this week. I'm saying no. They're going to need more than that to beat those.
I'm picking the upset here. I'm picking the upset here.
All right.
I think 13 points will do it.
I do too. You guys
I'm
had.
trying to be encouraging.
I am
encouraging
too.
here.
All right, here we go. Speaking of bad seasons, let's talk about Alabama. Alabama's season is still better than Austin's hosting abilities. Randy, still better than Austin's hosting abilities?
That's a big no.
Okay.
That
all
is a
right.
big no.
3 losses. It's kind of a
You've
toughie.
had a few
It's
losses.
toughie.
You've had a few
I
losses.
mean, I struggle. I'm not
you
going to lie.
have struggled.
Michael hesitated to answer that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't know what that means.
You haven't treated me real good several times. I'm a little tough on this one, but I'll say no.
All right.
Just because I want to come back.
Okay. Bama season's still better than
I
my
refuse
hosting.
to answer.
Okay. He pleads the fifth.
Devo
If I'm
says,
not answering, he answers.
I know. Okay. I see how it goes. Bama fans don't know that teams pay for their players too, Randy. They don't know that. Yes, no.
Pay for their players.
Yeah, they don't know that other teams pay for their players as well.
They know that.
Do you think they know that?
Sure
Yeah,
Okay.
they
You think they know
now.
that?
Sure,
It
I
might
mean,
not have been
now
that
they-
way in the past.
They
Not
should
20
know it
years
by
ago.
now.
Yeah, okay. I'm just curious. All right.
See, this
Here we
is-
go. This is for you, Jim.
That's one of your
You
points
looked
right
at-
there.
All right. Here.
You calling him Jim?
No, he was chuckling. He was
yeah,
chuckling. He
no.
I'm
distracted.
just thinking about the last question, and then he proved the
Yeah,
point in
am I
the
little-
next question
Oh,
with that
man.
hosting.
Okay, yeah. Here we go. With my tremendous hosting ability. Here we go. SEC fans want all the power and money and prestige of their great conference, but not the downsides of a strong schedule. So that means they're not a cult, right? They don't, they don't want the responsibilities of being in there. So I'd say they're not a cult. What do you say?
They're a cult.
Oh, yeah,
You watch
okay,
everything
SEC.
you watch everything on Facebook from the SEC. It's a cult.
All right.
Georgia has played the toughest schedule in the nation.
Yeah.
So I'm saying no, it's not.
Ohio State has played 5 teams in the top 5. I beg your pardon.
Well, just
Yeah.
the rankings, the way the press or whomever does those things has got Georgia's number one.
How many
Georgia-
top 5 teams does Georgia play? Texas.
Texas.
And
And
Ole Miss was knocking on the door. Alabama was.
and that's
Yeah,
kind of the
that's
thing.
kinda
It kind
fallen.
of plays out that way where teams lose.
But you including Penn State in that?
Yeah, they were in the top 5 when Ohio State, and they're still number 6 or 7.
Yeah.
They're going to be in the playoffs.
SEC is a cult because
See that,
They don't
and you
want the
got to go to.
responsibilities.
You may have to go to.
Yeah, you're right.
Two.
You talk
And-
about
and
a
that's a
whiteout.
tough
My
place to
gosh, the
play.
snow and
gonna
everything.
be
yeah,
interesting.
Good point.
All right, Randy. We all hope Bama head coach Kalen DeBoer doesn't have a favorite tree. We all hope he doesn't have a favorite tree.
Why is that?
Well, Harvey Updike, Bama fan. I mean, some Bama fans, they don't like some trees now. You got to be careful.
You are really stretching with these
He has
questions
put
right
some
here.
Thanksgiving thought into this thing.
When
I'm
you
just
have to
telling you,
explain the question.
Yeah, that's true.
Giblet gravy
your-
has had something to do with this.
Your review of my hosting probably is correct today. This
But,
is pretty
but,
bad.
but you got a point now. The Alabama folks are not happy.
Maybe not. They don't like them trees. You got to be careful.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't.
He's the guy
Yeah.
who poisoned the Auburn trees.
I
by
got
the
Yeah,
way.
for those of you who aren't up
But
on
when you
your
have to
history-
explain the question,
And Jim's trying to
again,
figure out how to answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we hope Kalen DeBoer doesn't have a favorite tree.
I hope so.
All right. All right, here we go. Last one on ESPN. Randy, ESPN will put Mercer into the playoffs. That way they'll have to put Bama in.
What is it with Bama this week and you?
It's the
they
Bama
were,
show.
They were really nice and classy when FSU got left out of the playoffs last year.
you're getting your
in lieu of
revenge.
Bama, in lieu of Bama coming
He's
in.
rubbing some salt in it. Rubbing some
You
salt
know,
in it.
I'm just remembering that.
Little raw,
So,
little salt.
Alabama's had 3 quality losses. I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna
I'm
put it right
telling
there.
you, somebody on the ESPN set's going to be saying something like that this week.
Yeah,
Quality
they lost
losses.
to the great powerhouse Vanderbilt.
Yeah, come on
and
now.
5-5 Oklahoma.
Yeah, and a really bad Oklahoma
There's going to be a
team.
12-team playoff with a special write-in game.
A write-in candidate.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no,
yeah.
they're not going to let Mercer in.
They're not going to let Mercer in.
No.
Mercer in. Another Thomasville player there.
Yeah, another
Mercer.
Thomasville
But
player,
Alabama will
Cole
somehow
Shaw,
be
but
in.
no, they will not get in.
They'll find the back door somehow. You're right.
All right, well, I hope you have a better Thanksgiving than my hosting abilities and writing abilities.
Enjoy it. Be
Enjoy it. We're thankful for y'all.